What's up, everybody? A day that I've been counting down for is finally here. We have Titanium Trials in Warzone. Titanium Trials is the successor to Iron Trials. If you need more information on it, I put out a quick video. I'll link that down below, as well as Raven's blog post on it. But I've been waiting for this day since we lost Iron Trials in Verdansk. We got Iron Trials on Rebirth Island, but big map Iron Trials feels the best, and now we have that in the sequel in Titanium Trials for Caldera. So I put together 6 loadouts. I have 3 AR loadouts, 3 LMG loadouts. Those are ranked 3-2-1 LMG and 3-2-1 AR, but they all have different SMGs, which are ranked 6 through 1 in my mind. Quick criteria is minimum 60 rounds for all the ARs, LMGs, and SMGs. Minimum 60 rounds. Since the time to kill is longer, you need more bullets. That was the minimum. It had to be controllable. It couldn't just be wild. So it had to be something that had enough ammo that you could also hit your shots with. And so that's kind of what led me to choose the weapons I did. There is a handful left off that you could argue could be put on this list, and you can really make any gun work. But the problem is, you know, something that might down 2 people in one mag is now going to down 1, break 1. Especially because the armor is 250 health, or 300 health, and the base health is 100. And so you might down someone and crack someone, but now you're reloading. They're not. You're toast. So the minimum ammo was definitely important, and it also had enough damage. Like, spoiler, Kilo's not on here, because it just doesn't have enough damage in its mag. So it would have to kill really fast, obviously, to make it be worth it. But that all being said, let's go ahead and jump into these loadouts so I don't keep you waiting. Alright, so at number 6, we have the MG82. It is pretty much the same build I've always recommended. This does have probably the most recoil on this list, but it's all vertical, so you just have to pull down. But it's the Agent Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Axiom Arms 3 times, Field Agent 4 grip, 125 round mag. Now, normally I have the fast mag on it. You could still use the fast mag. That still has 75 rounds. It's a faster reload. But neither of them hurt your ADS, and with it being Iron Trials, I'm going to take the 50 extra rounds to finish off that gunfight and then hopefully reload. And like I said, there's been some guns left off this list. As far as LMGs go, the Bruin has an argument. It does have a 60-round mag in its best build. The Royale can be an option. The Stoner, the RPD could all be options that aren't on this list. If you think really hard, you could probably guess what at least one of the other 2 is, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. Then I have the PP Bison as the SMG. Now, once again, there's a handful of SMGs that could maybe be on this list. The MP7's got 60 rounds, so there was the thought of putting that on there. Both MP5s just don't meet the ammo criteria, and the Modern Warfare 1 needs like an entire mag to down 1 person in normal BR, so that doesn't really work. The OTS, not enough ammo. And so there is the AUG 556 build could be on here because it has 60 rounds, but it is so slow. It feels like you're running through mud. The ADS feels more similar to an AR in that build, so that got left off the list. So right here we have the PP Bison, the Monolithic Suppressor, the 8.7 Steel, or the Polygonal. The 8.7 Steel hurts your movement speed, but it helps your recoil control. Both help range and velocity, and both hurt ADS. I believe the Polygonal helps range and velocity a little bit more, but I'm going to take the recoil control because hitting your shots is more important in Titanium Trials. And then we have the TAC Laser, the 84-round mag, which is actually the only mag option, and the Stippled Grip. If you don't quite like this loadout, like if you need an optic, drop the Stippled Grip and pick your favorite optic, or you could drop the Stippled Grip and go to no stock, and that'll help your ADS. Not quite as much as stippled, but it'll also help your movement speed, whereas stippled doesn't do that. But with the no stock, you do also hurt recoil control. As far as perks go, I mean, perks mainly the same. Serpentine will probably be a little bit better in this mode than in regular BR even. Quick Fix is less important than it was in Iron Trials because the health is not as much a factor as the plates. The Cold-Blooded, I'd recommend either Cold-Blooded or Serpentine. Maybe Scavenger has more of a use here because you need more ammo, but probably Serpentine, Cold-Blooded, maybe EOD. If you're getting a second loadout, definitely go Tempered here. They recommend Tempered when they give information, but definitely go Tempered. So you have 2 plates to get 300 health, and you have 150 per plate instead of 100 per plate and having to do that extra plate. Once again, Amped, Combat Scout are probably the recommendations. Battle Hardened if people are running snapshots, but probably Amped or Combat Scout. And then lethal, tactical, it's always up to you. Grenade's probably more of an option now because there's more HP. So number 5, we have the PKM. The PKM's always been meta. There's not much else to say about it. It's the same build everybody would recommend: the monolithic suppressor, extended barrel, tac laser, VLK optic, snatch grip. You can drop the tac laser for another magazine. You can go up to 150 or 200, but it's got a minimum 100, and so I would just leave it as it is. Then we have the cousin to the PP Bison, same game, different, same gun, different game with the Bullfrog. Same build I always recommend: Group Suppressor, Task Force, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip. The big change is instead of the 65 round mag, we have the 85 round mag, because we are trying to maximize ammo. 65 would be okay, could make it work, but I would just go full 85. The ADS penalty is not great enough in Titanium Trials to argue otherwise. You can drop the Tiger Team Spotlight if you'd prefer and go KGB Skeletal or Spetsnaz PKM. I wouldn't drop the Bruiser because it helps with the hipfire accuracy and movement speed. Tiger Team helps with movement speed, aim walking movement speed, but an overall movement speed helps the aim walking speed as well. Number 4, we have the UGM, and this is our last LMG on this list, but the UGM, very similar to the PKM, TTK-wise. This, I believe, edges it out a little more range, and you have 10 attachments, so it ends up being number 1. And we have the MX Silencer, and for the auto build, we have the 736mm. If you want the burst build, go with the 560mm. Then we have Hand Stop, Strife Angled, or Carver, depending on your preference. You could also throw in the Mark 6 Skeletal if you're going with the burst barrel because you're not controlling as much recoil. Your choice of optic: the WT Ancre or Anchor stock because we're going for recoil control during sustained fire with automatic. Otherwise, I'd recommend the Forte 7 for the initial firing recoil and the aim down sight speed. You could also consider the TAC YR if you want the aim move speed and aim walk steadiness over the aim down sight speed for initial firing recoil. And then the 6.5mm 125 rounds is not only double what my minimum requirement is, it's also the best mag overall. Then you want to go lengthened. You want to go polymer, hatched, or groove, but I'm stacking sustained fire attachments. That's why I have the same stock. That's why I have the stock I do, the polymer grip, and why I end up choosing tight grip. If you're going for initial firing recoil on the burst build, you're going to want to run the stipple grip. Then we have tight grip for the automatic, but if you're running burst, you want to go with brace, and then we have on hand as always. Then my third best SMG is the Cold War PPSH. The Cold War PPSH is probably I think it was the least competitive close range time to kill, but it also by far has the farthest drop off on this list. And then on top of that, we have a 71 round drum. And otherwise, it's the same build I always run: the Group Suppressor, the Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, and then the Spetsnaz 71 round drum. Normally, I have the 55 on there, but because this is Titanium Trials, I have the 71 round drum. As usual, if you would like, drop the Tiger Team Spotlight if you need to drop an attachment and go the PKM stock or the Raider stock or the optic. I know some people don't like the iron sights on the PPSH for whatever reason. Number 3, now we're getting into ARs. The KG, I debated putting this in number 2. I debated putting this in number 3. It ended up falling into number 3 because its time to kill just isn't as good. Its damage to mag, I believe, is a little bit better than number 2, but its time to kill just isn't as good. And they were kind of tied. So take number 3 and number 2 on this list is with a grain of salt. But I have the KG at number 3. It's the same build as always: the MX Silencer, the Shrouded Barrel, your choice of optic, VDD 22G padded stock, hand stop, Strife Angled or Carver 4 grip, 8mm 60 round drum, lengthened. I have hatched on here because we don't have polymer. We don't have a sustained firing recoil stock. So the 22G padded helps with recoil overall. Hatched helps with vertical and horizontal. So I paired those, and then there's no other perk for recoil control other than brace, which is initial, but I'm more worried about sustain, so I go tight grip. If you don't think the recoil is bad without tight grip, definitely go vital. Increase that time to kill, increase that damage per mag, and then on hand as usual. My number 3 SMG is the Arma. Some SMGs that got left off this list, like I said, are the 5.56 AUG. It's just way too slow. The Blixen just didn't have quite enough ammo. And the OTS, both MP5s, just not enough ammo. And so we have the Arma here. We have the recoil booster. I know there's a short barrel build going around, so the short barrel is a viable barrel. The precision barrel I've seen talked about because there's like no recoil when you use a precision barrel, but you lose out on body damage. Whereas the 315 helps overall damage, helps increase that damage range, and bullet velocity, it just has more recoil. So depending on the build you like, go short, go with the 315mm or the precision barrel. Strife angled, carver, or hand stop. 9mm. If you don't mind the recoil, the 8mm 72 round mag has 12 more bullets and a really good time to kill. Lengthened or subsonic. Subsonic's probably a little more important on this list because the third party chance is higher because the fights are going to last longer. So people are going to have more time to engage in a third party. They know they have more time until you're fully healed up. So subsonic's a good option, especially in this mode. Taped grip, but if you're struggling with the recoil, especially on the 315mm or the short barrel, polymer, hatched, or grooved are all really good options. Stock, I like the SA folding for that movement speed and sprint to fire speed. The skeletal is what people have been using on that short barrel build because it helps aim, walking, move speed, and steadiness, helps ADS speed and initial firing recoil, but it hurts during sustained fire and it hurts your sprint to fire speed. So if you struggle with the recoil, go with the body DA. You'll lose a little movement speed and sprint to fire speed, but you gain a lot of recoil control out of it. And then I have hard scope to help balance out that recoil, but if the recoil is manageable for you, go vital, go sleight of hand, go steady. Vital will increase that time to kill and damage per mag, but hurt your recoil. Sleight of hand's good in titanium trials, and steady's always good for ADS fire and move speed. And then quick once again. Number 2, we have the Cooper. The Cooper's damage per mag isn't amazing, but it's got one of the fastest time to kills. I think it's the fastest of the 3 ARs on this list. And it's the same build I have in my other videos with the MX silencer, the Cooper custom barrel, your choice of optic, the Cooper custom padded, strife angled, hand stop carver, 9mm 60 round drum, lengthened, polymer grip, tight grip, and on hand. The Cooper custom padded helps during sustained fire, so I have that with the tight grip and polymer, but otherwise go hatched, grooved if you'd like, but it's better to stack those sustained fire and recoil attachments. And then on hand once again. Number 2, we have the Marco. The big thing with the Marco is it's got a very competitive time to kill. It's one of the best of the 6 SMGs on this list, and it's got a 64 round drum, so it meets the minimum ammo requirements. I have the recoil booster on there. I have the 342mm, but if you want to run the akimbo build, it's the 285 custom barrel. I'll link my Marco video down below. If you'd like to check it out for yourself a little more in depth. Hand stop, carver, or strife angled. If you go akimbo, there is no under barrel. 9mm 64 round drum, or 8mm, sorry. No matter what, it's the largest mag. They all have similar time to kill, just different drop off, but it's 16 more rounds than the next closest mag. Lengthened or subsonic, your choice of optic. If you're going with the akimbo build, just go with the magnified optic for better accuracy. The Perfetto is SATA stock. If you're going hipfire build, go HF folding stock. I have taped grip, but otherwise go with pine tar grip if you're going akimbo. Gung Ho for the single gun, akimbo. Obviously if you're going akimbo, but the Gung Ho gives you instant sprint to fire time. Frenzy's another decent option, and so is Momentum. Unmarked if you don't want to run subsonic. And then not on hand, that should be quick. Then we have quick as usual. And then number 1 is the return of the automaton. The big thing here is it does have more recoil, but it's like all vertical. It's got 75 rounds. It's got a similar time to kill to the KG, but it does have more recoil than the KG, but it does have 15 more bullets. So I have the MX silencer, the 600mm barrel. The Anastasia sniper is an option, but it doesn't help with recoil control, but it does give you the best bullet velocity and range. The precision barrel, also another option because it gives you horizontal recoil control, which is the hardest to control. It gives you more range and increases your headshot damage, but you lose body damage, and I'm not willing to give up extra damage, especially in titanium trials. And then hand stop, carver, strife angled, 75 round drum. It's not only the best mag, but it's got the most amount of ammo of any of the mags. Lengthened, your choice of optic. And then I have the Anastasia padded because it helps during sustained fire. Zac Skeletal is another option. It only helps during initial firing recoil. But I stack sustained with also the polymer and tight grip. Once again, you can run hatched or grooved if you prefer over polymer, but I am stacking sustained recoil. And there is no brace, as you can see, it's only tight grip. And so other than sleight hand, there's probably not anything worth it. Maybe spotter for a little extra damage range. And then on hand once again. And finally, the SMG that I have number 1 on this list is the Vanguard PPSH. It's got the most accurate hip fire on this list. It's got a 71 round mag, and it's got like the second longest damage drop off behind the Cold War PPSH. And so maybe another SMG is better for you on this list, but I think this might be the best SMG for titanium trials. It's the same same hipfire build as always. The recoil booster, the 230 millimeter barrel. If you don't want to hipfire with it, go with the 300 millimeter barrel. Carbon foregrip's an absolute must if you're hip firing because it helps with your hip fire accuracy, whereas the strife angled and the hand stop don't. But if you're not going to be hip firing, I'd say use any of the three that you feel most comfortable with. The 7.62 71 round mag is the must, especially on hip fire. But if you want to try the other mag, there's the 8mm mag. It just doesn't kill quite as fast. Lengthened or subsonic, your choice of optic. If you're hip firing and you're only going to hip fire, use a magnified optic. But I don't want to only hip fire. I don't want that to be my only option. So I'd still go with the slate reflector. Taped grip. If you're going to mostly hip fire, go with the pine tar just like you would on the akimbo build. But I kind of want this to be a little bit of a combo build. So I stuck with the taped grip, but either taped or pine tar. Remove stock if you're going to be hip firing is a must. Otherwise, go with the Empress Custom if you're going to ADS just for the extra recoil control. And then I chose tight grip. Fleet, once again, I wanted this to be kind of a combo build, but if you're purely hip firing, definitely go with Fleet. If you don't find the recoil that bad, go with Fleet if you're ADSing, but I just chose tight grip to help out. And then quick overall. So those are going to be my Iron Trials loadouts. You know, I think these are the best. They meet my minimum 60 rounds. They have good time to kills. They have good, or at least decent damage per mag. So I think those are the best. And if you watched all the way through this video, thank you for watching. If you skipped around, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate anybody watching. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos. And let me know in the comments what you think of my Titanium Trials loadouts. Am I smart? Am I dumb? Am I wrong? Am I right? Let me know down in the comments below. And linked below, as usual, I will have my Twitch, which I have been streaming almost every day lately. I will have my Instagram and my TikTok linked down below. I post on those pretty much daily, so check those out. And I have my Twitter linked down below as well, if you want to check that out. But I will see you on Caldera for Titanium Trials. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.